3, 2, 1.
Check it out.
But let's get started with the spreads. And in general, we have decided to jump to option strategies because, I mean, more or less everyone in the group, not everyone, but a majority of people do options. That's no secret. We have, for example, the squeeze players. Some of them never do options, but most people do. And usually we buy a call or we buy a put and we think it will go up or go down, and that's about it. But with the correct strategies, you can optimize gains and sometimes minimize losses. But there is no strategy, of course, that is 100% perfect. Like, since I started this trading journey, every time I go on YouTube, I always get these commercials with, oh, with this strategy you get a 99.9 winning percent, and yeah, right. Like I said in that message in the announcement the other day, there is no shortcuts in the market. Sure, you can get lucky and do a huge YOLO play and then, okay, that's it for me, I'm out, I made my million or my 100k or whatever. But for most of us, it's a long journey. And remember what we have talked about? We have talked about it, me and Queen and the others, and little Ronnie talked about it too, with risk management. This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And everything that has anything to do with trading comes with a risk. And as we already talked about, this may be an instance where you have to have a margin account or a certain amount of settled cash in your account to even do an option strategy. So today we are going to look at one of the simplest spreads, the bullish call spread, also known as a debit call spread or debit spread, or there are a lot of names for it. It's quite simple. You buy a call option, and at the same time, you sell a call option at a higher strike price. And usually you have them both with the same expiry. So this is called a vertical spread. And there are repeat margin stuff. And if you just buy a call, you have your price, but with this you actually reduce the risk a bit, since the price will be lower. We will look into that in a second. But that also means you limit your profit potential, because as we all know, a call can go to unlimited gains with any luck, but you can't lose more than you are playing with. So we are going to have our old friend Brandon as an example today. And Brandon, in this case, is bullish on Tesla. But we know how the market has been. It's volatile. And he is a bit afraid. We all know that Tesla options are not the cheapest one on the market. So he thinks, okay, I'm going to use this method. I'm going to use a bull spread. So he buys one Tesla 210 call for 830, and he sells one Tesla at the same time. I'm gonna show it on the next page for 450. So instead of paying 830 bucks, he can reduce the price for the option he is selling. And remember, he doesn't own this. That's where the margin comes in. He doesn't own 220 call that you want to sell. So he can lose, of course, what he put in, $380. So he has reduced his loss risk with $450, the whole amount of the option he is selling. Do you all follow? Because I can't see the chat, so feel free to jump in if there's questions.
You're good. I will let you know.
Great, because it's a lot of numbers today. I know Whisperer talked about that it's good to have some mathematical knowledge when you're in the market, and I'll be the first one to admit that's not my strong point at all. So feel free if I mix up the numbers or something. It's totally just tell me, because that could happen. So this is how it would look on IBKR. It's different on different brokers, of course. But as you can see, I have reduced the price a lot because, as I said, Tesla options are expensive, and to risk $830, of course, you can have stop losses and stuff, but now we are down to a better price, 380. So that's quite a difference in price. And that means this is an option with two legs, because I am both buying and selling at the same time, and this is important. And we want to know, of course, most brokers have so you can just look what the maximum profit is. But of course, when we enter a trade using a strategy, we need to know how much can I make on this, because risk reward. So then you have to take the difference between the strike prices minus the cost. It's called the net cost of the spread. And then we have commissions and stuff. But that's, I mean, we have different brokers, so I'm not going to go into that. But remember, there is always a bank that is trying to make money, especially in these days and times. So we have the 220 minus the 210. That's quite easy. That's 10 left. And the net cost of 3.80. So then we can reduce the net cost, and we are down to 6.2. And if we go back, no, we can't see that there. That's on the next page. Sorry. The maximum profit is $620. So that means this won't be an unlimited profit opportunity. But then Brandon needs to think, do I want to spend 380 to make 620? And there is also good to know the break even, and that is the lower strike price plus the net premium. So 210 plus the cost, that's 213.8, and that should be here. Yeah, you see, they have added the commission to the break even, so it's rounded up a bit, 213.81. But my broker, I think most brokers will put this right away, so you don't have to calculate. So that means that it is quite a way up for Tesla, because it's trading at 207.5. So it's important here that Brandon really is quite sure that, okay, Tesla is gonna do a push. Because when is Brandon profitable? And here we see where we are right now at 207.5. That's like the break even will come up here at 213. So you can follow the chart here and see that he will reach his maximum profit quite late. This really needs to do quite a huge push for this strategy to be really profitable, to reach his maximum profit. So Brandon needs to think both once and twice here. Do he really want to do this? Is the risk and the reward worth it? Sure, there is quite the slope down until he reaches his maximum loss, but here at 380, a bit above 500, but there is also quite a journey. But as we know, Tesla can push, and Brandon is sure that Elon is going to post one of his infamous tweets. So he goes on with the trade. And here we have the numbers I was looking for. And this is what we all have calculated. He can have a max loss of the money he put in, of course. It can go to 0. We have the break even, and we have that max return. So let's say, yep.
Could you go back to that last picture? All right. So when you're looking at that blue line right there, that's showing it at expiration, right? So as long as you're above your break even at expiration, then you're going to get that maximum return at 216 or around there.
Yep.
Whereas if you're expecting the move to happen right away, then you're currently looking at that red to green line. So if you want the move to happen right away and get maximum, then you're looking for extremely volatile move in your direction. So when you're looking at spreads, generally you want to be you're pretty much looking to either be bullish, but like you're bullish on the stock, but you're not too bullish, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
So that's the time when you would want to be looking at spreads.
Yeah. And I think,
again, like you said, to limit losses.
Yeah. And I think, for example, that Tesla is one of the stocks where it can be quite smart to have one with option price, and we know how Tesla can move. It's not a recommendation, but I know a lot of people want to play Tesla. A lot of people are really good at reading the Tesla chart, but they still hesitate because it's so damn expensive for many that have a small account. I mean, that don't want to risk much on one option. Okay, so if we compare this to, let's say Brandon instead had bought a 215 call. I looked with the prices that was when market closed this Friday, and that would have cost him $641. And of course, that would have been an unlimited max return. But a max loss, of course, of the whole amount. Hopefully he would have had a stop loss, but who knows with Brandon. No, I'm just kidding. So if Tesla had moved to 228.4 on a regular 215 call, he would have had a profit of $700, while the spread, if we go back to the chart, we don't see the number here, but we have 620 is the maximum. That's the roof. We can never break above that. So sure, it's all about risk reward. Do you want to risk more to get more? Maybe, maybe not. So I totally agree that, and the book mentions this too, that a bull spread is for the bullish trader, but you are not too bullish. So that makes perfect sense. And of course you can do these with different degrees of aggressiveness. The book talks about the cautious bull spread. Here you have both calls already in the money. So of course that can reach max potential quite quick, but the gains will of course be very, very low. We have talked about this in the earlier classes, buying in the money and what that does with I dropped the word. There. The leverage. Sorry. Shit. And in this case, what Brandon is doing is what I would like to call an aggressive bull spread. The lower price is close. It's not really in the money, but it's at the money. And the higher price is quite a bit out of the money. But then you can do an extremely aggressive bull spread if you really are bullish, but not maybe super, super bullish, if that makes sense. You can have both of the calls way out of the money. So that is up to every trade, more or less, how you as a trader feel about your trade. There are no rights or wrongs. And when you look at YouTube videos, when you look around on the internet, I mean, some people hate doing these spreads. They say that no, these are not for me. They have way too little profit, and I've done horrible on them. And then there are others who say that, oh, this is my way of having a steady income. These spreads have been all the difference for me. So that's, I mean, it's like with everything we teach, and the important thing is we don't have these classes to like explain and teach you everything there is about candlesticks or about Bollinger Bands or other indicators, or we just want to like how do you put it, we want to start that spark that will make you feel that, okay, this may be for me, I'm gonna look further into this, or oh my god, this is not for me at all. So it's all about you finding your own style of trading. And I talked to Standard a bit about this earlier. I think it was today, at least my today. We are in different time zones. That you gotta find your own. We totally agreed on this, that you gotta find your own way of trading and your own method. You can't just follow a great trader, because God knows we have a lot of great traders, both in our group and in other groups. There are thousands of great traders and mentors and whatever on the internet. And I mean, why are not everyone in this rich by now? If you just follow a good trader, that should be it, right? But it's not that easy. We all know that, because what works for one trader doesn't work at all for the next. So there is no cheat code to the market. I wish there was, but it ain't. Do we have any questions? I keep talking as usual, and my English is so, and my math skills are even worse, so please. Nothing? Because I can't see the chat, so someone has to help me out here.
Nope. And again, I'm sorry for leaving you hanging last minute to do it on your own. That's my fault.
No, that's okay.
No, I'm not seeing any questions, but I agree with, if it was just as simple as following a good trader, we could just pick one of the badasses in here and just follow them. I tried. Kron is really, really good, and I tried doing some of the stuff he does, and I'm just like frustrated and pissed, like it was not for me. But he's like super, super fucking successful. So you have to find your own niche, and I think that was a perfect way of saying it. We don't have the time. And I know that y'all don't have the time to have these classes and for us to teach out every single detail of everything. but it's enough information to help you get that basic understanding and then see if it sparks something in you, like, oh, I want to look more into this, or oh no, this isn't for me. We do our best. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But I personally, I know I want to start looking into spreads. This was something that came up a while ago, and me and Kron meant forever to look into them, research them. So I even opened a second account so I could start doing them, to learn them, to teach them, and it kept getting put on the back burner. We do a lot in here. But it's something I want to look into. The gains aren't going to be as big. And it's not safe. Nothing is 100% safe. But from my knowledge, from what I've heard, it's a bit safer than options. And the money isn't as big, but if it's a bit safer and you can get more consistent, why not? So it's something, because I do this for a living, it's something I definitely am going to start researching and want to learn. Option strategies is in the book that I have set to read on my break. Because, I would be okay with smaller, consistent wins than, the possible bigger, but maybe not so consistent, I guess, more dangerous. So I don't know. It's something I'm interested in looking into, and see if it's something y'all would be interested in looking into, learning different option strategies. I also know that 8 Inevitable Outcomes has been talking to me a few weeks ago. He's looking into spreads as well, doing them. He's played them a couple of times. Of course, he hasn't called anything out. He just started on it, but he was told by someone, they make a living off of it, and it's a bit. I'm not gonna say it's safe, but a bit less, dangerous or stressful as the options. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to look into. Y'all just got to see if it's something that y'all want to look into as well.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we have this class now, because we know that a lot of people are starting to talk about this, and we have other strategies like the Iron Condor has been quite mentioned. We of course have the regular strangles that people do when Yapao gets on the stage, but we want to be on top of things, so to speak. But that doesn't mean it's right for everyone.
Yeah, when we start hearing y'all talk about it, we're like, oh shit. Let's start having some classes on it, make sure people don't just jump off the deep end.
Yeah. But no questions?
No, there was some, but Canadian answered them, I believe.
Great. And Canadian, you have been doing quite a lot of strategies, I suppose. It feels like you are way ahead of me on this subject.
Yeah, I try to do well. So generally, I try to do Iron Condors pretty much every day since 0TTs have happened, and then I have spreads open for 3 days out, usually on indices at all times.
Nice.
And then for earnings, I do butterflies and calendar spreads, which I'm sure we will get into later.
Yep.
And that's another thing Canadian wanted to, when he had started his challenge, he wanted to call out spreads, but he knew that nobody, mostly nobody knew how to do them. And then I know he mentioned, we had a short conversation about it, I believe, him telling me something about, if you're not careful, you can get assigned or something like that. And so that's why he wasn't comfortable calling it out until, y'all had the full knowledge of it. So we're starting on that journey now.
Yep. And we are gonna take it real slow. Because, like I said, the homework I sent out, it's not the easiest stuff. And if you feel that, oh my god, this is way above my current level, I'm still trying to figure out, like, what's the difference between a put and a call, what's the leverage on options, stick to that. No rush. We are filming every class. We have a lot of stuff. As you may have noticed, we have rearranged our library with information to more like a forum kind of, I don't know what to call it. It's more organized. So take your time, because this is a marathon. Okay. So when and how to sell? You don't have to wait until expiration to sell, of course. And anytime you're hopefully happy with your gains, you sell the call you bought and you buy the call you sold. You do the reverse of what you did when you bought the spread. Then there are, of course, situations where you may sell one and keep the other, and there are always, like, the book mentions some tricks on this, but we are not going to have the time to go into that deeper today. Different strategies depending on how your play is going. But it's not rocket science. I mean, you all know how to sell. You all have done it. I don't know if there is any trick with any brokers in the US on this. Anything that can get complicated, Canadian?
Sorry, I was responding to someone. What were you saying?
Okay, yeah, if there can be any, like, when you sell with some of the US brokers, if there can be anything that can get messed up. Because for me, this is really as simple as selling a regular option.
Sometimes the spread on the spread, the premium spread on the spread itself is a little bit wider than normal. So there can be some issues there in terms of getting a fill, but generally I haven't really ran into anything in terms of selling the spread itself.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then we have the little crap to end this fairy tale, and that is the early assignment. Do you want to take this, Canadian? I know you are better than me at this. Way better.
I'll add on to it. I want to finish responding, so I'll add on to what you
Okay,
have.
yeah, sure. Because I started with a quote there, and that I can read it out. American options can be exercised on any business day, and the holder of a short stock options position has no control over when they will be required to fulfill the obligation. Therefore, the risk of early assignment must be considered when entering positions involving short options. Early assignment of stock options is generally related to dividends. And that means, in Brandon's case, back to Brandon, the long call, the 210 that he bought, has no risk of early assignment, but the one he shorted, the short call, the naked short, so to speak, have risk. And what happens is that the 220 call is sold. If a short stock position is not wanted, it can be closed by selling the long call or by buying the stock. May trigger a margin call if there is not sufficient account equity to support the short stock position. So that means if you are getting really close to in the money, or it's even very profitable, let's say Tesla jumps to 225, it's all party. I mean, if someone exercises their right to get their 100 shares, say someone has a call option that they want to exercise, you have told your broker that you are selling a 220 call. So that means that you are in a deal where you can sell this. And how to avoid this? Of course, you can sell before expiration. Oh, sorry, my dog is crazy in the background. I don't know if you hear him. I can't hear myself speak. And as I said, keep an eye on the short call if it goes in the money. There is a risk of assignment, and it's very real. It seems it doesn't happen too much. I read a blog from some trader. He said he does these plays like every day, more or less, and he said it happens to him. I think it was 5 times in 7 years. So but the risk is still there. And if you have reached your maximum profit, I mean, there is no reason not to sell. But what to do if it happens? You can use the long position to cover for the short position, or you could buy the number of shares you have been assigned on the open market. So it's not the end of the world if you aren't playing with like a lot of margin and stuff. You want to add some to this, Canadian? I don't know if this has happened to you.
Luckily so far I haven't had to go through it. Assignment.
That's great.
So I don't have anything too much to add, but sure, like you covered, like as long as if you do end up getting assigned early, which does happen, even if the call necessarily isn't in the money, it's very, very rare. But you just need to ensure that your broker knows that, hey, this is how I like that you'll be dealing with it. Instead of using your own capital, you're gonna have them exercise that call that you bought, or that put that you bought, and then use that towards to fulfill the sold call's requirements.
Yeah. So it's something worth knowing, but as far as I can tell, it's of course it can get real bad if you're always when you're playing with margin. But I mean, it doesn't seem too bad, or am I wrong here?
No, generally as long as you're like closing before it goes in the money,
Yeah.
or and like you don't have to wait until it's at 100% profit, or because generally I end up closing my spreads at around anywhere from so for my 3 days out spreads, I'll close them out around like 50% for the most part. I don't wait for them to go like super close to in the money or anything of the sort.
Yeah.
And then other times I'll close them out at like 20%, 30%. So it's not something that I wait on for too long.
Yeah, and when you said that, I this just crossed my mind. I'm changing the subject a bit now, but like Canadian just said, I mean, I get the feeling that sometimes people wait too long to sell in general. That's just my opinion, and I know you have seen me sold way too early sometimes, just before the real push starts. So, but I think that there is a risk, and I may be wrong here, but when you have a set maximum profit, I see a risk that it's easy to like think that, oh, I'm gonna ride this out. I want that $620, for example. But like Canadian said, when you're up like 50%, why not sell? I mean, green is green, and there are other trades. But that's up to you, of course. And we have talked a lot about risk management, so I just wanted to add that don't stare blind at the maximum profit. That's just my recommendation. Okay, so I think that's all we're gonna take today. We're gonna do the quiz, of course. We still have 12 minutes. We are on time for once. To not make this too overwhelming at once. Next time we may look at the bearish spreads, or maybe move on to the iron condors and stuff that I know people are curious about, and a lot of people already use them, and the butterflies and so on, of course. So I'm gonna leave the word to Canadian to answer any questions while I make sure that the quiz is running as it should, since I had those computer troubles. So I'm gonna be silent for 5 minutes, if that's okay. I take the silence as a yes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Salim, I'm posting the name of the book in chat right now. A member actually recommended it. It's Options as Strategic Investment. It's about 800 pages long. I'm currently going to Why is the Moon Round? Thank you. I'm currently 800 pages. Yes, Miss Mokahanis recommended it. And it's giving him more gray hair. I am going to be starting on a different book, but it's kind of the same. Just it's about 500 pages, but it covers a lot of the stuff as well that that's in that book. I will show y'all right now. So there's lots of books, and Standard had posted a link. If y'all look in that education or additional resources, Standard posted a link for y'all to be able to get basically every trading book for free. So I mean, y'all literally like have the hookup to get every trading book for free. The link is in there. So definitely take advantage of that. Standard is awesome. I remember seeing him talking with Chris, and Standard showed the link, and Chris was like, dang, I just bought a book a couple days ago and it's in there. Like, you could have gotten it for free. So y'all have to hook up on a lot of stuff in here. Please take advantage of it. A lot of great people sharing a lot of great information. Quiz time in 5 minutes. Okay. Or now. Does that mean 5 minutes or not? 5 minutes. That's the book that I'm going to be reading, Option Volatility and Pricing. Right now, I read Trading in the Zone, and my next one is Atomic Habits. I'm focusing on my break more on the mental first side of things. Where's the link from Standard? So if you look in under additional resources, under our study section, look under additional resources, and then go where it's labeled books. I will screenshot it and show you. And let me grab it. And it will show you all the books. Study room, additional service, additional, let's see, books. Come on, phone. I'm going to show y'all the screenshot right now. Where to get to it. I know it's a new channel. Okay. Stonkity and whoever else. So if you go to that channel and then you look up the section, it'll show you different labeled sections. And it says books, variety of topics. You'll see a bunch in there, but you also see one, I believe I screenshotted where Standard was talking about it, and then I posted the link. This is a great book for insight on the mind of our Mr. Livermore. Oh, very nice, very nice. So if you notice, our bot is named Livermore. Apparently, he was an awesome trader. And so we pull a lot of our inspiration from him.
And even he blew one account. Like, he lost everything, but then he won it all back. Because some idiot told him to buy corn stocks and then sold. So he was stuck.
Any other questions? Doc, I see you answering Thorns. Thank you. And there are so many, and I bet you a lot of you didn't even realize, like, if you do a straddle or a strangle, that's, technically an option strategy. I've heard people talk about it, but I've never heard them talk about it like in strategy form. I'm not even for sure if a lot of people, I know when I first did my straddle, Well, one, I could never remember which was which, straddle or stringle. I could never remember. I thought they were like the same, but they're different. One is when you get the equal amount. The straddle is when you get the equal on each side, and then the strangle is when you think it's going to lean more towards one side versus the other. So I didn't know that forever. So it's, and I was doing them. So it's surprising the things that we do and we don't have the full information. And so it's better to have the full information, I've learned.
Okay, just need to go over, because all the questions were, the whole PowerPoint was empty, so sorry for this. But I'm almost done.
No, Kron, we're going to blame you for computer issues forever. It is your fault that your computer messed up. All your fault. Just like it's my fault. Well, damn, it kind of is my fault. I cut my own thumb. Yeah, that is my fault. Okay, I am to blame for my issue.
Yes, you are. Okay, I think we will start. We will have 7 questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, we normally do 7.
Okay. I thought it was more. Okay. Are we ready?
We are ready. Are y'all ready? Remember, on the quiz, you can only answer in the text part. You can't voice talk it. The first one to answer the question correctly, he will read it and then he will post it like that in the chat, the written. The first one to answer it correctly will get the point. So ready, set, go.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to read to with my broken English. Okay. So let's start with a warm-up. What is another name for a full call spread? Vertical is correct, debit is correct, but who is counting points, by the way?
Oh, me. So, who got it right the first time? Vertical?
Rookie.
Vertical. Okay.
At least on my screen, I know people are so quick, so sometimes it comes up different. Okay, let's move on. If you buy one option for 10 in a spread and sell the other for 2, what is your cost? Okay, I don't even...
Dangle got that.
Yeah. Damn, you are quick. Salim.
Salim got it?
No. I'm just trying to... I want him to win.
Okay, but who got it?
I'm partial. Dangle, right?
Yeah, Dangle's at the top with 8.
Okay.
Yeah. That's great that you helped me because I'm jumping between screens. Okay, question number 3. How do you figure out your break even? I'm gonna need a formula.
Yep. Danglewood got it.
Okay, I'm jumping on to the next question number 4. What makes a bull spread extremely aggressive?
Khan's got that.
Yeah, damn, he's quick. I'm very impressed, let me tell you. Okay, number 5.
They reverted to using abbreviations to be quicker. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Which of the options will be sold if you are early assigned.
Which will be sold if you're.
Do we have a correct?
Yeah, Rob got that.
Rob.
Yeah, the
Okay.
call you bought will be sold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question number 6. And now you have to get your calculators ready. Now, what will you pay if you do the following spread? And I'm gonna just post this in chat. Is that okay? Or is
Yeah, just post it and let them read
Okay.
it and then do
Yep.
that.
Get ready to count. 3, 2, 1, bam.
TV
Oh,
Jones.
damn, you're quick.
Okay.
Okay, last question. Get the calculators ready again. I'm gonna do it the same way. Or no, I don't have to. Okay, get ready. What is the maximum profit if the net cost was 7.8?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to this, so y'all gonna have to look.
That's a very good question, Daniel.
Yeah, it is. But on a bull spread. Or was that question a bit unclear?
I think so.
It's my bad.
Yeah, it would be because you would want, like Daniel said, you would want the two options on there to figure out the difference.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I kind of messed that one up. But I was thinking 780.
If you're thinking 780, then Doc got
I
it.
was like thinking if you had one for 8 and one for 0.2, but yeah, I had to put that together really quick.
Doc
But
got it.
let's give the doc, because it won't affect the outcome, right?
Nope. So
Okay,
Rookie
great.
has 1, Danglewood has 2, Cons has 1, UK Rob 1, DV Jones 1, and Doc 1. So Danglewood is our today's quiz winner.
Yeah. And he kind of got the last one right too with that question. Let's say it was a trick question. So I can save face.
You had to retype it at last minute. We'll give you some leeway this time.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, please go ahead, because I know this can be tricky. I had a very hard time putting this class together, because at some points I felt like, okay, this is going to be too complicated, and I felt, okay, this is going to be too easy, or we are missing too much details and information, so I'm begging anyone who is interested in these kind of plays to do your own research and ask, because there are a lot of smart people in the chat. We have the market specialists. We have a lot of members that are not market specialists that are also really, really smart. And why are some people market specialists? Maybe we should explain that. Not everyone knows that, right?
So our market specialists are chosen based on ones that, I see that have that extra drive, that extra love, that extra energy, that extra attention, that they put to chat. You know, Drip is always making these extra things, putting them together. I'll ask a question and he'll pop up out of nowhere, with the answer. Um, Standard and Canadian, they go to all of our Twitter calls and always offering up great information and answering questions and do the watch list and, things like that. Whisper, he goes to all of our Twitter calls. He has all of this great knowledge that he offers. He has his section. Um, let's see, Trading with Mason, he's always there giving a nightly review. Once he can't be on during the day, but he gives the nightly review, and takes any questions will pop up. Chris too, I mean, I've seen him hop in, the back to basics and hop in chat and answer questions left and right. So it's just these ones that are really, really smart, have a lot to offer, and are, able to take that extra time, energy, and love, that they share that same, passion as us and have that, extra time and energy to put into helping others. So it's not to say other people don't have the same knowledge that they do, but, these ones have stepped up to go that extra mile, extra 10, 20, 100 miles sometimes. Canadian and Standard, they'll be on at 3 a.m. putting together that watch list for y'all. So yeah, there's a lot of work that gets put in behind the scenes by the different team members, and we are completely and utterly grateful. We would be dead in the water without y'all. So thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. Now I'm gonna throw Canadian out there. Canadian, can you tell a bit about the contest we have coming up?
Oh, all right. So we're gonna be doing a weekly contest for just like lotto trades. If anyone wants to participate, it'll be for that fortune teller title that we have. So that'll transfer between person to person weekly. Whoever wins that little competition. At any point in the week, you can show an entry for your lotto play. So we want to see a screenshot of the entry. It can be on either paper trade or it can be on your actual account. And then we want to see a picture of when you sell it as well, just so no one's selling at the high every time or selling or buying at the low. So we're going to be doing that on a weekly basis, and we'll switch the title over basically every Friday afternoon once the market's closed. And then the highest percentage there wins. Highest percentage gain.
Yes, because it's good to remember, I know that we had someone in here that loved to come and post their huge gains. But it was like 5 to 10%, which there's nothing wrong with 5 to 10%. Nothing, absolutely positively nothing. But, to me, I just kind of felt like, what the hell? You had a whole lot of money to put up to do that. So you're basically teaching our people, well, if you get a buttload of money, you really don't need to study and learn stuff. You just take a little and run. Negative, and then you got people looking at you like you're this amazing star when you just put up a bunch of money. You really hadn't, put up the work. So I didn't like that. Don't get me wrong. I've taken 3% before. Screw you. I'd rather have that than a red trade. But it's the perception of it, the way that he did it, and so we just want to show y'all. If you put in the work and you have that drive and that passion, and you learn, you can get in better trades and put up less capital and still make good money. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help you preserve your money and make good money. We don't want to teach you put up $5,000 to make, whatever. We want to teach you how to buy 1 or 2 contracts and enter good trades with good knowledge and make good money off of that. So that's why this is kind of based off that. We're wanting to know your entries and exits. Just another way to, help drive and motivate to learn that and, get those down better.
Oh, and it's open to both options and if you're trading shares. So we just want to see a percentage gain there. Don't take the lottos if just randomly, please. If they are
Please
lottos. People have done their own research, so yeah, or hopefully they've done their own research before getting into the lotto trades as well. But if they haven't, please don't just go jumping into them. And if you want to, make sure you're doing your own research beforehand.
Yes, everything we do is to motivate learning, is to motivate researching, is to motivate doing things the right way. And like they said, you will get that title and you'll get the cool emoji, and you're gonna get to rock it and brag with that title all week in chat. So yes.
And let's say I jump in a lotto and I decide to sell it on Tuesday because it jumps up a lot. Should I post? Will we have like a channel to post?
Yeah, so we'll open a channel for it.
Okay. So that means if you sell early, you also risk having people that are gonna hold longer to win. Or are we gonna do it like anonymously?
So, how about this? During the week, you can enter as many times as you want. The highest percentage gain on that Friday gets it.
Smart. Great, because we haven't had of course, the quizzes, but we used to do these earnings plays. But I think people kinda, after a while, all the fun earnings were gone. So this will be a great start to a new weekly contest.
And I know a lot of brokers don't show percentages, like 2S doesn't show percentages, but I can screenshot my buy and my sell.
Yeah.
One that'll have the timestamp that proved when I entered the trade on the chart, and when I exit it. And then two, you could do the math on the buy and sell and figure out the percentage. So if your broker doesn't show it, you can always do that. And for privacy, you can X out how many contracts it was. Nobody needs to know that. The importance of it is knowing your entry and your exit, and the percentage. So if your broker doesn't show the percentages, you could show it that way.
No stock's coming for that title then.
Yeah, it is. See it. Any other questions? Can I ask this? I know we're over, but did this, spark anything in anybody to want to start looking into different option strategies? I know I got some bad too loud. Okay, we're overboard. I think everybody's brain's kind of going. So we will end it here. As always, if y'all have any questions, come to chat. If our newbies want to go to Back to Basics and ask, you're more than welcome. Or Trading Ground. We have a lot of awesome people. Always ask questions. Always learn. We will be here next Sunday. First winner and medal goes to Danglewood. But there are 3 more chances this month to win that $100 at the end of the month. And I guess that's it. If nobody has nothing, we will.
Salim says he has a question.
What's up?
I'm ready for anything.
Yeah, with Salim, let's be ready for anything.
Roman, it'll be throughout the week, so you can post on it anytime throughout the week. Friday after close is when we'll award the title to whoever has the highest percentage gain.
They will also have someone type up the rules of the challenge and send that out as well.
No, butterflies and calendar spreads are not the same thing. Salim. They are not the same. Yep.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Y'all have an awesome rest of your Sunday. Thank you for coming, and we will see you in chat, and we will see you next Sunday.
Bye-bye.